Welcome to the Jefatona podcast. I am your host, Delilah D. This is the place where women can explore what it means to be successful without leaving any part of themselves or their culture behind. In each episode, we talk ambition, we talk expression, and evolution on our own terms. Baby, it is time to get into the episode. Hey everyone, Delilah D here with the Jefatona podcast, and I am super excited for my guest I have today. Let me tell you about her. So, something about me, when it comes to like the word influencer, I'm a little like, I get invited to like little influencer events here in Philly, and I don't know, something about that word just doesn't sit right with me. But when I say that someone that deserves all the recognition, someone that deserves all of her blessings, someone that deserves every single thing that comes her way, it's really Cass, my girl Cass in the city. Because one thing about her, she's real, she's honest, she's authentic, she shows up as herself 100%. I know, I've kind of just been like an outsider looking in. We've only recently become like a little bit closer, but just seeing your journey, seeing the evolution of you, and just like how you're so vulnerable in your journey has been one of my favorite things to witness. So thank you for being a part of the Jefatona podcast and sharing your story, getting people to know you on an intimate level too.
Thank you for having me. Like, hearing you even say that just makes me like almost want to cry right now, because I agree though about the word influencer. It's kind of a little cringy. That's why I like to think like more like impactor.
Yes, you're an impactor
versus
for sure.
like influencer. But hey, whatever. I'm just glad it brought us together.
No, absolutely. So one thing about Cass that I love about her, so if you guys don't follow her, you need to make sure you do, because she will literally make you fall in love with Philly, with the tri-state area in general, in a way that, you probably have not been able to do so before. Like, I, Philly John, born and raised, I'm proud to be from this city, but there's a lot of, one thing I love about you, she's very intentional about choosing small businesses. She's very intentional about making sure that she's highlighting places that aren't really, of the elite status or really of like the IG famous, whatever. Like, she really shows love to these small businesses. I know people may hear about the Keith Lee effect, but y'all really need to pay attention to Cass in the City effect. So how did you get into just, everything you do right now with highlighting the city?
Yeah, so the pandemic hit and my job hours started getting cut. Everybody started spending more times on their phone, social media. That's when I downloaded TikTok, and I realized, there's a little bit more than just, kids dancing on this app.
Yeah.
There's other things out there, and people were showing a lot of things to do in New York City. And I was like, that's great and all, but like, what is there to do like in Philly? Why is this not being talked about? Because there's so much to do in Philly. And I think it's often, overlooked, because it's easy to get stuck in your routine of just going to the same place for dinner, same place for lunch, and you don't break out of your routine. And there really is so much here and that Philly has to offer. So I wanted to just show people my favorite places that I like to go. And that's kind of how it started. So I started showing my quote unquote favorite places around Philadelphia. And then it just kind of blew up from there. My first, post about it went viral. And then I just kept doing it over and over again. And it started to resonate with more and more people. My audience grew, not just on TikTok, but Instagram too. I also used Facebook. And I really realized that there was a love for this. And, it's easy to hate on the city. The news is very much negative about the city. If you don't live in Philly, it's very easy to just be like, who wants to go to Philly? But
sure.
I love living in Philly. I love living in Philly, and I want to make people love living in Philly, because you should love where you live.
Absolutely.
It might not be, the gorgeous beach, in Florida, but we have a lot to offer here.
We do. I have a folder on my Instagram to save like things to do in Philly, and 80% of that folder is like her ball. I should just rename it to Cass in the City.
I just will keep people busy.
Yeah. So not just food posts again. So I love how you're intentional about just overall experiences. So we know you're a foodie. Anyone who follows and know you're a foodie through and through. But also like, experiences. And this is not just like things to do, but also like stuff that's like, small business owned. Like you do like running club, like you showcase like, there's this great initiative. There's this running club. There's these group of women that's doing this. Like she's very, intentional about highlighting. And especially with me, like, Black and brown business owners too.
Absolutely.
So I think that's really important and vital that you do. And again, like one of my favorite favorite things is to always see, and I'm pretty sure not just me, I know the same thing with you, when you post a small business and then just to see like their IG blow up or see like
the impact that it has on them,
Yes.
like it's rewarding in itself to see the impact that my post can really make. I've literally had businesses tell me that they were on the verge of closing and then they made enough sales after my post to stay open. Like, I'm sorry, how can you not feel good about that?
Absolutely. Do you understand the power of your impact though? Like, I really need you to take that
I do think I do now. At first, like I was just doing everything and kind of just going with the flow. But as things keep transforming into what is happening now, I totally realize that, wow, my single post can really make or break, a business. But I'm not about spreading the negative energy on anybody. So if I have a bad experience, don't worry. I typically will never advertise that. I just want to highlight the good and businesses that deserve it, and just recommend it to anybody else that might need to see it.
No, absolutely. And again, just want to reiterate, one of my favorite things is your ability to be self-aware about certain things, because obviously, we live in a time where there's a lot of things that's happen on a political level. There's a lot of things that's happen, negatively and everything. And one thing I love about you, because it's something you don't see from a lot of influencers as well, that you'll jump on your IG and be like, I don't really know much about this topic, but I'm gonna learn. Or tell me like what are the resources I can how can I learn? How can I do this? And you'll give your feedback and be like, okay, this is my take on this. I'm not sure if it's accurate, but this is based off of what I read. So that's something that I love that you do with your platform, because it's so easy to be like someone that's just like very, I don't want to get involved, or I don't want to do this.
People do not want to get involved.
Because especially when you your income is based off of brand deals and everything.
They're scared they'll lose followers. They're scared that brands won't work with them, and I understand that. If you're on that side of the game, I understand it.
For sure.
But at the same time, I think it's important to be myself. And
absolutely,
you can't not talk about things that are happening, whether it is political and it could possibly hurt your platform. But at the end of the day, is it though? Because you want to be yourself and you should want your audience to respect you and understand you through and through. And I think when having a large platform like we have, you have to talk about things that are uncomfortable to talk about. Even if you aren't educated in it, then take time to educate yourself or ask your audience, hey, can you share resources with me?
And then you always, and what I love that she does, she will share those resources lists too. And I'm just like, go ahead, girl. This is how you use your platform.
So I'll make sure that you're spending your money around Philly, but I'll also make sure I'm staying up to date with what's happening. And if I don't know, I'm going to ask.
For sure. What do you think is one of the most, what's the most challenging thing you have to experience being like a full-time influencer? We're a full-time impactor.
But I mean, I guess it's still navigating the local scene. You have to play your cards right in the city, I think, to be respected in a certain way, get invited certain places, get certain brand deals. You kind of have to tiptoe around a lot, not say too much. So that's where, when I'm very authentic and vulnerable on my platform, it gets me in a lot of trouble. I burn a lot of bridges, but at the end of the day, I personally don't mind. But if you are in the creator space and maybe that's something that you don't want, it can be tricky. It can sometimes feel like you're being left out of certain things if you don't get invites places, get the same campaigns as other people, get recognized as much as other people, but you just got to keep pushing through those, obstacles.
Yeah, I mean, and realistically speaking, anyone can put together a cute reel and say, come to this location, but it's really, one thing about you is not really a lot of people can connect with an audience. Something that's really important for me is I love building community. I'm very, I'll be crying, I'll be laughing.
I love that. And I love taking that type of content in. I love experiencing that from other people. And that's why I don't mind doing it too. And I see people like yourself that even inspire me. Even your workout journey. Every day when I see that you've worked out, I'm like, all right, Delilah's moving her body. I need to be moving my body. So I love love seeing all parts of it. And I wish that, more influencers would start to show more parts.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's why I'm in it for, myself.
No, for sure. I mean, everyone does whatever, feels right for them. But I know at least like me personally, that something that connected me to you. And then I was just like, I want to be her friend because you're real, you're raw, you're authentic. And, you're vulnerable too. There's things that you go through at times. I know you won't openly share all the time, but you'll hint like, hey, like, I'm not having a good day right now. Like, I just went through this. I'm going to check out for 2-3 days. I'll see you in 2 to 3 days.
Mental health is so...
I respect that 100%.
Yes. Mental health is so real. And I feel like we have to talk about it because if you don't, it's easy for people to just think like, oh, she's busy. But like, let's be real. I am going through it right now and I need to take some time off. And I know that it's relatable to other people. And maybe somebody else needs to hear that, like, oh, they've been going through it. And maybe it's also okay for them to maybe take a step back too.
Yeah, for sure. Because especially in the day and age with social media when you feel like you have to show up as...
Oh my gosh. Every day, because if you don't, that algorithm's going to come and hate you the next.
I know. Meta on your algorithm. Ugh. Anyway, but no, I want to make sure I give you your flowers because it's just, there's not a lot of people, and especially like in the, in that space that I just feel like I don't really connect with. And I mean, I've always felt kind of excluded in a sense, even though I've done so much.
But if you can even just go to an influencer event and you look around to your left and your right to see if there's other people that look like you, and it's very rare.
Yeah.
It's, influencing is a white woman dominated industry, and, pop off, do your thing, girls. Mm-hmm. But it does make it a little bit harder for women of color and people of color to be given their flowers. So I appreciate it.
Of course. I had to ask you flowers.
I'll take the water.
You take the water. No, so I would want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, a big thing of you just being so vocal about certain issues and stuff is because obviously you being a woman of color yourself. And then just, we talked about this in DMs before, like just like legacy building,
Yes.
She has this beautiful daughter, my little IG niece, wild. And when I tell you, when I see your post with her and your husband, it really makes me emotional. And again, I don't know too much about you, but I know what you've hinted at. And like we've had conversations about stuff with our families. And I just want to make sure, like, you're doing an amazing job as a mother.
I appreciate that. That's like my number one goal right now is to be a good mom to Wild and to give her things that my husband and I didn't have. I think it's really important to give her a nice foundation because, like I said, I don't think that that's what we were given. But we did what we could with the foundation we were given, and we made some changes, and we got to where we are today. But it's really important for us to give her a really good life.
What's one generational curse that you're breaking when it comes to raising your daughter?
Well, I've never met my father, so he's not in my life, and that's for the best. And even my husband, Kellen, his father was struggled with addiction and was also not in his life consistently. He died when he was a preteen. So us even just being a couple, neither one of us grew up in a household where we had a mom and a dad. So that is a huge generational curse right there that we're breaking and able to give her. And even just having the resources that we have. Like we are financially stable, and that's something that neither one of us came from. So just even knowing that we have a solid foundation in that retrospect. Granted, we're not perfect. We still go to counseling, and I recommend it to every couple, but we are doing the best that we can.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things too about your story, you're very vocal about what you went through with your partner.
Yes.
So for those that don't know, he went through his own addiction problem. So it's actually interesting knowing that his dad struggled through that. And then I guess because if I'm not mistaken, the story you shared, he was a teen when he got addicted.
So when his dad died, that was when he started to spiral, and he got addicted to painkillers. Back in the early 2000s, Oxycontin was everywhere. That was like the Oxycontin era, and it really changed his life in a bad way. It led him down the road of then eventually getting addicted to heroin, and he struggled with his drug addiction for 10 years.
And you met him during that time?
I met him during his addiction, but when you're with an addict and you'll know they can be very, very good at hiding things, very good at lying. So I was not under the impression that he was using at the time. I knew bits and pieces of his past,
For sure.
but I didn't think that it was anything to be worried about. But there were signs. And when he finally came clean to me about what was going on, it was because he was about to take his own life. He literally had just came and visited me when I was living in Baltimore. He was on his way home. I gave him a call and I was like, what's going on with you? He was like, I'm actually like about to jump off a bridge. He was like, I literally can't do this anymore. I've been using. And that was when I was like, we can figure this out. You do not need to do that. You know, he didn't have health insurance, we didn't have resources to get him into a treatment facility, but we did everything that we could. And eventually from that point, I think it was maybe 60 days from then that we got him into a treatment facility. And our life has been changed ever since, but for the better.
No, that's powerful. And I think, it's really important to I love that you guys are not afraid to highlight that, because these stories are so important, because people, and one thing I noticed too, and like what's really especially important, that you're like, this is a sickness. It's not, and I love that you make sure you emphasize that. Like you didn't leave aside, he was sick and he needed you.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people, I mean, whether you're going through this with a partner or not, like I can only imagine what you went through. It's like, do you leave them alone? Do you stay by their side? Do you do anything of that sort? But it's a conflict.
Drug addiction has so many stigmas around it that it's really uncomfortable to talk about. Like, do you think I was going to tell my mom that, my boyfriend is actually addicted to heroin? No, that was the last thing that I was going to do. My friends even that I would tell, it was like, oh, you should leave him. Like, why are you going to stay with him? But I knew that I could see the potential in him. He just needed to get better, and that he was sick. And we're very fortunate enough that he did not die because if you think about it, just last year alone in 2023, over 100,000 people died in the U.S. from drug overdose. It's the leading cause of death in people under the age of 45.
And people don't talk about it enough.
People don't talk about it.
And what's even crazier is a lot of these drug overdoses are stemmed from pharmaceutical drugs.
Literally.
That's a whole other conversation. I'm not trying to get shut up by the government right now.
We're not going to do that right now.
We're not going to do that right now.
No, trust me. There are so many things that, like, the U.S. government honestly should be lucky that I don't talk about some things on my platform. But I do just think it's important to talk about that it is a disease. That
and it can happen to anyone.
It can happen to anyone. There is no discrimination when it comes to drug addiction. Absolutely. And it impacts so many people around us. And we need to help them in any way that we can. I know it's very common more so to like shun them out, cut them out of your life, but there's resources to help you be a good support system for them. So it's just another way for me to spread our message that, we've been through it and there's hope at the end of the tunnel.
And how many years has he been sober?
He's been sober for 7 years. So
that is a godly number.
Oh my gosh,
now.
No, it's yeah, 7's good.
It is a great number.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, congratulations to you. And
Thank
again,
you.
just knowing the bits and pieces of that backstory and just seeing this beautiful baby girl that you guys are raising, and just seeing, you can see it from just the post alone, like his genuine love and admiration for her.
Their bond heals my childhood trauma. Seeing him with her is like, wow. No, but I'm like, I never experienced, the love from a dad ever. And to see him love her and her love him right back, it is literally the most heartwarming thing ever. And that right there is like, I'm serious though, I don't know. There's just something so beautiful in seeing that relationship. And I wish that I had that, but I'm grateful that I can at least make sure that she has that, and that I picked a really good dad. Yeah. So
here's to breaking generational curses. Here's to setting a new legacy filled with love. Wow. No, that's powerful. What would you say, just speaking of, because, I'm someone that I don't have a relationship with my father either. I don't speak about it often because I feel like he always finds a way to creep up on me. And I feel like anytime I ever bring him up on my platform, I'm getting a random message from a random number or phone call, and he's just like
relatable.
Yeah, it's down talk. It never fails. I usually, and this is like, I can't even believe I'm speaking about this right now, but I've struggled so hard with like even just trusting partners, like, potential partners, because of like even like that fear of abandonment, that fear of like And this is not just partners, this is friends. And which is crazy, as a
Absolutely.
girl who loves her friends, her community, and everything, like internally, I really struggle with the fear of abandonment.
You're heard. I hear you.
And just like, how was that something that you dealt with growing up?
So I definitely still struggle with my own abandonment issues, my own trust issues. Therapy is very helpful, worth every penny. But when it comes to finding that in my partner, I was very, very lucky to have found somebody that understands it. And also, I don't want to say we have the same journey, but we have similar stories. He had a very rocky relationship with his father, so he kind of understood where my feelings were. Just last year when I was super pregnant, my father's new girlfriend reached out to me. Again, granted, I've never met my father.
Wow.
Never met him. And I got an Instagram DM being invited to their wedding.
So you know who he is, you just haven't met him.
I know who he is. I've never met him, though. He's never asked to meet me, but I got an Instagram DM from his girlfriend that wants...
What did you respond?
Well, she didn't even spell my name right. So...
My name is on my profile.
So to know that they don't know my name, it just kind of was like... I want nothing to do with them. That was when I finally took the initiative to like block them on every single platform possible, just because I really don't need their energy in my life. I think that they reach out to me now because they see that I am successful. I think before that, they wanted nothing to do with me. And now that they see that I'm successful, now that they see I'm like happy and thriving, that they think that this is their chance to then mooch off of it. And I'm not going to entertain it. So when it comes to the abandonment, it still comes up, but we have good days and bad days.
Yeah.
And I think that you probably relate to that, like when you're dating people, and friendships too, because I'm very reserved when it comes to making new friends. And I feel like that's because I used to open up a lot and then realize people do not have the same intentions. So I've definitely closed off a little bit more. But that's where then I pour more into my family. So
do you have like a solid friend group that you can confide in?
So I have solid friends. I moved to Philly 7 years ago. So I still have like hometown friends from Maryland that like I love and adore. And then I have a best friend here in Philly, Carly. And so
she's
like
who does your makeup, right?
Yeah, and that's how we became besties, like because she was my makeup artist from years and years and years ago. And yeah, so I confide in her. One time there was, so when you also are with an addict, there is the chance of relapse. Yes. I can call her if there's a chance that like Kellen could be possibly on the verge of a relapse. Like, so as long as I know that there's somebody that I can openly call and talk to about that type of stuff, I know that at least like there's some support right there. Definitely probably not as much as I would love because I wish that we had family here, but we're building our own little family.
I'm glad you have that because I know you spoke about this before. I think it was a couple weeks ago. You went to like your first like a friend's.
I did.
Like, dinner
I was invited to a friend's dinner. It was like a dinner party.
Like,
it was a dinner party. I was freaking out because I don't step out of my comfort zone to meet people. I really don't because it makes me uncomfortable. I feel like a lot of times I'll open up, I'll meet people, and I think we're on the same level, and then it turns out like they just have poor intentions. And I don't like that feeling. And I feel like I don't like being let down. Probably stems from the abandonment.
I was going to say that.
And I know it's not necessarily their fault either. It's also me needing to evolve and understand that I can't put expectations onto people.
For sure.
But that's just who I am. I wear my heart on a sleeve for the most part.
I would say, I mean, this is just a suggestion. Don't, take it or leave it, whatever. But don't be afraid to allow love in,
Yeah.
You did it, with your partner. And, again, I'm just someone that really, again, advocates for community, for friendship. I think it's so important to have, friends.
Well, and it's crazy because I have such a large online community, but there's a difference between, because I don't.
Same.
There's a difference between my online community versus the friends that like, you pick up the phone, you call, you text if you need something, you're going through something. So no, I totally agree. And I needed that.
I want to challenge you to like really, and again, if someone takes advantage or, they fumble you, just keep it moving. You know, I feel like, you know, just really be in the space of just like receiving, you know, love from all different levels. Like you put yourself in that position with your beautiful family you have right now. You put yourself in that position with your career that's like blooming right now. And I think like it's a, you know, for friends
No,
too.
I agree. But do you think that maybe it stems from like childhood, like thinking that you're not worthy
Oh,
of
girl,
like,
absolutely.
because like even when it comes to the success of like my platform, getting brand deals, things like that, like when things are going good, I'm always like, why? Like I'm always like, what bad thing is about to happen? Because like things were never good. Like I feel like for the majority of my life, it probably took till when I got to 30 for things to actually start to like fall into place. And that's why I'm always so hesitant. Like what is actually lingering back there? Because there's like no way things can be good.
Do you think like you're kind of manifesting for something bad to happen?
Probably. And that's where like, you know, that's where like the childhood trauma plays a role into still who I am today. And I wish that like, you know, it'll get better. It will eventually get better. And I'm going to take
this evolution.
Hey, I'm going to take your challenge right now and I'm going to try to let more love in. And that comes from all relationships because that is definitely something that I need to hear and be working on because I know there's so much love that like I could be receiving and I'm just like, you know.
Yeah, and this is just beyond surface level because, again, I know especially when you have someone that's like a big following as you do, of course you're going to engage with them. Of course you're grateful for them. Like, and that's something I love about you. Like, I know you have the conversations and everything, but, you know, still having someone that's like beyond surface level, having people that's like, you can really get deep with and you can grow with each other, you know, just kind of go through different layers. You know, I've had my fair share too, because again, you know, I'm freaking make friends with a tree. Like, I'm literally like, I like people, but, you know, a lot of people do take advantage of me. And, you know, I just, you know, do I let it like stop me? No, before in the past I did, because just kind of going off of what you said, like stemming off of childhood trauma, my dad will always, when I was younger, he would always tell me that no one would want me. He would always tell me that I'm ugly, that I'm fat, that, you know, love is not real, friends aren't real. So these are things he used to like, he used to plant these seeds in my head as I'm growing, like, you know, so.
And that's definitely what you then always believed.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And I've dealt with years of, you know, body dysmorphia. I've dealt with years of like feeling like, friends, I can't really trust friends. I dealt with years, like, look, I've been single for over 12 years because I still, even though I know I bring a lot to the table, I know I have a lot to offer, but I still feel like someone, because it's annoying. Like, I guess I'm in therapy. Yes, I go through it. We talk about all that, but it's still that seed that I haven't been able to pull the root just yet.
Well, see, I'm right there with you.
I'm not like
I'm with you when it comes to friends. So we got to switch roles because you're doing it for love. I need to do it for friends. But it's true. It's true
because we gotta be each other's accountability partner.
Yes, because we really do have to hold each other accountable because I feel like you're probably missing out on relationships with people. I know I'm missing out on relationships with friends, and I definitely think that that's something that would make me a better person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're an amazing girl. You're the entire package. So like, spread a little bit of that cast love on.
All right. Accepting friend applications now.
But only if you're real, if you're authentic. If you're shady, come on, don't do that. Like,
I will spot you from a mile away.
Like, use good discernment when it comes to that. But
literally.
No, that's beautiful. Again, I just want to, the whole concept of this podcast is, you know, evolution. So, you know, we've had like everything you went through with your partners, everything you went through with like your family, now your career. What's the next step for you? Like, what is the next thing that you want to do?
Well, now that I've like become a mom, that's really become the focus. It really is. And I know that sounds like so cliche because but like really just being a good mom to her. And then it's like, okay, then my platform is more so secondary, but that's how I make a living. So it's a big secondary because then that's how I'm able to provide for her. So I don't necessarily know what the future holds. I'm one of the hosts for the Philadelphia Flyers, so I hope to always be, you know, invited back each season.
So did you? Because I know you used to be a dancer for them.
Yes.
So did they call you back to be the host, or how did that happen?
I pitched them.
Go ahead, girl.
I'm all about. This is another thing. I'm all about shooting your shot. Always shoot your shot. I just let them know. I was like, you know, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. Please do not think I'm trying to take anybody's job. I love and respect our hosts so much, but just letting you if you ever need somebody to ever fill in or anything, I would love to be considered. Just literally left it at that. They needed somebody to fill in for a couple games, and then that led to more and more games. And then this season, I really was like, worked just about half the games.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So look, shoot your shot.
Always shoot your shot.
We all here for shooting your shot.
I'm
The worst
telling
thing
you.
someone can do is say no.
That is the motto. The worst that anybody can say is no. And
Yeah.
if you don't ask, your answer's already no. So you better ask.
That's a bar.
Yes.
That's a bar.
But for real, that comes in all parts of life.
No.
Dating too.
All right.
Okay.
That's topic.
Okay.
That's topic. What is one of the what are you most proud of right now?
I'm proud that we're making ends meet. I mean,
would you ever think that you'll be doing this full time?
No. For until I pursued content creation and influencing full time, I literally was always working 3 jobs at a time. Always 3 jobs at a time. I've always been like that. My mom was always like that. My grandmother was always like that. Everybody's always working multiple jobs at a time. You have to. And it's like not even to make ends meet. You're literally working all these hours to literally still be struggling to pay your bills. I never thought that I'd be in this position right now. Never thought that. So, I mean, the fact that we can make ends meet and I'm getting to spend so much time with my daughter and be a present parent while also making ends meet is like, is this even possible?
Yeah.
Especially in this economy. I don't want people to ever think that I take it for granted because
Absolutely.
I know how many people are still in that position that I was, working 3 jobs, still trying to make ends meet, not making ends meet, and figuring out how to go about paying their bills. I remember that headache and that stress so much. But there is hope. And maybe it's through content creation. Maybe you're an influencer too out there. You never know.
We impactors out here. Okay?
Yes, we're impacting.
No, I love that. So one thing I always like to ask anyone in general, what are 3 things you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my health. And I'm grateful for my journey, if that makes sense. Because I'm so appreciative. Like I just, said how appreciative I am to be where I am today. But I don't think I would be so appreciative if all the hardships that I went through before were not part of my journey.
I think that's so important to highlight too, because a lot of people, I was actually just talking to one of our PAs about this too. It's so easy to complain when everything is going wrong. It's so easy to just be like, why this, why that, why me, why whatever. And, I've been there, obviously. I'm human. Hello. But, just kind of in the season I'm in right now, I'm okay with obstacles and adversity. I'm okay. But this actually is largely due to my growing relationship that I have with God. So, that's a whole conversation for another day. But I'm okay with challenges that are brought my way because I know I'm going to grow from this. I know I'm going to learn from this. I know, this is a part of a bigger plan. So it's just, it's so easy to be like, oh, my God, my journey's hard. Oh, my God, nothing is going right. Oh, my God, why is this not? But it's just all right, what we gonna learn from this, y'all?
Yeah, what is it about to teach me?
Exactly.
What is this teaching me?
I'm gonna come out so much more wiser. I'm gonna come out so much more stronger. I'm okay with it.
What is better that's coming right after this?
For sure, because I done been through some. I'm sure you have. I'm sure anyone watching, listening, everyone has been through some ish, and we got through it.
Yes.
Some of us are still getting through it too. But a lot of the things we went through, we got through. And during that time, we didn't think we were going to get through it. But, I'm excited for whatever is thrown my way because it's it goes into the whole concept of me just practicing gratitude on a daily basis. Because even when I'm having my rough days, because it does happen,
Thank you to the 5-minute journal.
Yes.
Delilah put me onto it by Intelligent Change, okay?
Yes,
you should sponsor the Jefatona podcast. Because that journal gets us through.
Yes, I do the 5-minute journal every single morning. I've been doing that for a little over a year now. As soon as I wake up, don't even brush my teeth, still got crust in my eyes, I have my journal on my bedside. I open my journal up and write 5 things I'm grateful for. 3 things that, I want to happen. Yeah, my goal for the day and my affirmation for the day. And it's literally, so before I even start my day, before any challenges are thrown my way, before my mind, I already started my day with gratitude. So shout out to the 5-minute journal. But
I appreciate Delilah putting me on to that journal too. So if you don't have one, get one.
No, absolutely. I think we need to. I love that you said that, and you pointed that out, because I think it's so important to not be afraid of challenges. It's so important to not be afraid of failure. To not be afraid to do something. Just do something new and learn from it. So
no, I agree, and I think I still need to hear that, because I think when you get comfortable, it's easy then to not challenge yourself, or to, when a challenge does come up, to go into the panic mode and go into the fear mindset versus looking at it as, a blessing. This is going to teach me something. This is going to lead me to something even better. I just need to get through this.
No, absolutely. I mean, this whole thing is kind of like a challenge for me, because I recently closed a really big chapter in my life. And now I'm just really focusing on building Jefatona, and literally I had no plans, no whatever. I just kind of I took the leap, and I'm just I have no idea what's going to happen with this.
That's the best way though, because that's exactly what I did with Casa and the City. Yeah. I literally left my job, was not really in a financial position to even do that. Yeah. But I was I physically am ill driving to work. I literally cannot do this anymore. I'm so anxious. I hate working here. I'm so unhappy. It's draining me. What should I be doing? Should I just take this leap and do it? And I did. And that was literally in the winter of 2020. And I never looked back. Casa in the City now has been, my full-time living career, and I have a career. Even me saying that, I have a career. I never once thought I'd have a career. Ask me if when I was growing up what I wanted to be when I grew up. I always just said it. Oh, I want to be a gymnast. I want to go to the Olympics. What was I thinking? I'm going to the Olympics, taking on Simone Biles. No, but let's be real. So I never had a dream of having a career, because I didn't know what I wanted to be. But it makes sense, because back then social media wasn't a thing. Yeah. So
no,
I just need to figure it out.
What's so funny about you, again, is every time when you land a campaign, at least I remember from the beginning, oh my God, I just got this campaign, or oh my God, I just got this campaign.
I am doing a happy dance. Yes. If I'm doing if I get a campaign, I look at every single time, I'm doing my happy dance, because that's amazing. Yeah. It's just a good feeling to know that it's working and you're able to make ends meet, doing something you love.
Absolutely.
It doesn't feel like work.
And the thing is, it's again, what you're doing is not just for you. You're really doing something to help impact the economy of the city.
Yes. And so that's where the big thing about my platform is, if you go to my page and you see me recommending a lot of small businesses, mom and pop shops, minority-owned businesses, they're not the ones paying my bills. They're not the ones paying me. I do a lot of everything that you see on my page for free. It's those, in a blue moon. This morning I posted an ad for Wawa. Yeah, Wawa is going to help me pay my bills, But when it comes to those small mom and pop businesses that don't have a PR team, that don't have a social media manager, that don't have the resources for people to know that they're there, or that they should, know about, those are the ones that I'm I need to tell people about them, because they're doing a great thing and offering something great to the community. People just don't know about it.
Yeah. So make sure, guys, if you're not following Cass, make sure you follow her. Make sure you engage with all of her content, especially the sponsored posts. Okay.
Yeah, we need to keep them coming in, please.
So she can continue to utilize her platform to highlight these mom and pop shops. And, I love that you do that. And I love that you're so intentional, because you could literally just be no, I have a big platform. If you're not paying me, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. So the fact that you're intentional to make sure, okay, I want to highlight this small business. I want to highlight this little hole in the wall. I want to
I find them. I save them all the time. My little saved album on Instagram is so long, and I wish, you have a team here right now. I need a team, because there's so many places that I do want to go to. It just takes me time, because I'm only one person. Yeah. But we eventually get there, and we eventually put everybody on, and that's how it works.
Aww. Well, what would you say for anyone that wants to start in the content creation space? What's the best piece of advice you can give them?
To not give up and to stay consistent. Okay, social media at first especially feels like a game. You're posting maybe every day, and then your posts still are not going viral. You hear about, just the chance of it going viral. Stay consistent. Your audience is eventually going to grow. and to keep showing up as yourself. That's a huge thing that I also recommend people doing, because I made sure that I was showing up as myself. When I showed the first business, it is and still is my favorite place to go to, the Cheesecake Lady small Black woman owned business.
Always posting them.
I'm always there.
And
but
always got a line outside.
Always got a line outside. She sells out every day. She's open. She's so good. But
that's amazing.
That's important to me, is showing small minority owned businesses, and whatever you love, show up as then that person. If you love health and wellness, show up then and show your health and wellness stuff, but make sure that it's you. Don't take it from somebody else, but be yourself. You can use other pages as inspiration, and stay consistent, because like I said, it's really easy to just give up and I'm just not good enough for this. If you think that this is your purpose and your journey, then stay on it. It does take time, but it's totally worth it.
And don't be afraid of what people are going to say or how people are going to...
I lost so many followers at first because people were like, why is she posting this stuff? Why is she doing...
The right people is going to find you. The right audience is going to find you. The right community is going to find you. And I think we live in a beautiful time where we're able to make money in so many different ways, shape, or form.
So many different ways.
And I feel like a lot of people, especially when it comes to social media, because this would be me too, but you feel pressured because you need things to be a certain way or whatever, but just show up as yourself, guys. I'm literally, I'm the one that's always going to advocate. You don't see a pretty aesthetic on my IG at all. You see the real, the raw, but I built a pretty solid following, loyal following, because of me showing up real and raw and as honest as I am. You're not gonna get a surface level.
And if that's what you want to create content wise, then make sure you're consuming that. Follow people like Delilah that shows up authentically. Follow people like myself. You can find other creators that are doing that too. There's obviously a lot more of influencers that post the pretty perfect lifestyle stuff.
Love that for them.
Good for them, absolutely. But if that doesn't resonate for you, and if you don't want to also consume that, then find other people that are posting and showing up more authentically themselves.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being a guest. Oh my God. Was it bad? Was it bad? Are we good?
No, I think we made it through. I'm a little, my pits might be a little sweaty. We'll just edit that part out.
All the lights happening.
It's the lights, camera, action, okay?
No, but thank you for tuning in. For everyone that's listening, please make sure you subscribe, and tell your fellow Jefatonas to come follow the movement. And of course, make sure you follow Cats in the City, please. And scene. Thank you for tuning into the Jefatona podcast. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe, and maybe leave a review or two. Until next time, love you. Bye.